What's up, guys, and welcome back to our realistic career mode with Nottingham Forest. This is episode number 8, and as you can see, we're entering a busy month of December. We're just 6 league fixtures away from the January transfer window, a window which to be honest, we're going to need. We're going to have to bring in some defenders because we've got the worst defence in the league. We haven't kept a clean sheet all season, and as we see our a departure here, Konate going to Paris FC on a short loan with an option to buy. We're going to be facing Everton, Wolves and Fulham in this episode. 3 big games. Fulham obviously in the relegation zone. You would have seen as well, I forgot to mention it in the last episode, Ryan Yates got injured and he was actually out for, I believe it was 2 or 3 months. So a big loss. We just converted him to centre back and now he's out for a couple of months. Bolly has come in and said, look, Gaffer, I know Yates is injured, give me his position. And I might be inclined to do that, give the former Wolves player that position at the back, and we do actually bring him in today. That was the one change in our lineup for today's first game against Everton. Bolly in for Yates. Everton currently in 6th position, doing quite well. 6 wins out of 14, so a good start to the season for the Toffees. In real life, it's their fortunes haven't been as successful. They obviously just sacked Frank Lampard, sat in 19th, and they weren't sure who to bring in. They went for Sean Dyche, and I just think it was the perfect appointment by Everton. Sean Dyche, I think, is the perfect man for the job. He will go in there, steady the ship, bring in the firm but solid tactics that he knows, and I think he'll bring success to Goodison Park. They've got a really good squad of players there that have just sort of lost their way. Obviously, his first game in charge, Saturday, early kickoff at home to Arsenal, the team who have lost once all season, leading the Premier League. But Arteta's men came up short and lost 1-0 to Sean Dyche's Everton on his managerial debut at Goodison Park. It was 2 of his former Burnley men, actually, Dwight McNeil and James Tarkowski, who gave him a vital 3 points. They did lose in the Merseyside derby the following week to Liverpool, but overall I feel confident in the appointment of Dyche, and I think he'll do a good job at Everton. And actually, I think Everton they've got ahead of their competitors. Leeds and Southampton, 2 teams that are also around them, have also just sacked their manager, and I think Dyche would have been a perfect fit for either of them, to be honest. And I don't think either of them have made a managerial appointment, so Everton they did well pulling the trigger on Lampard and bringing in Dyche. It was the right move, and now it'll be interesting to see if they can kick on with their season. But going into this game, early save for each keeper, and then 1-0. They say it about London buses, don't they? None come, and then 2 or 3 come at the same time. Remy Foyer hadn't scored a goal in the first 15 games of the season. He's now bagged 3 in 2 episodes, 2 against United at Old Trafford in a famous win, and he scored an absolute worldie. I don't know if you saw it, but chested it up, hit it on the volley over Jordan Pickford and into the back of the net, and it would be 1-0. Morgan Gibbs-White would give us a 2-0 lead. The ex-Wolves midfielder scoring quite nicely, actually. This one was quite frustrating because DCL would make it 2-1, 45 plus 4 minutes on the clock, and it's 2-1. They have a corner and it goes. There was only 3 minutes added on, and yet the ref carries on playing. And I just knew, when you have that feeling when you're playing FIFA and you're just going to concede. And I just knew that the ball was going to end up in the back of the net. And lo and behold, they equalised. And then 15, 20 minutes into the second half, Doucouré made it 2-2. And we were tied at Desmond. But in the 64th minute, we brought on Dennis for a 1-year. Dennis has been quite decent off the bench recently. And it would be the former Watford striker who would give us the lead for a second time today and would be the winner as well. Just 8 minutes after coming on, Emmanuel Dennis makes it 3-2, and that is how the game would finish. And it was actually the same pattern as our previous game against United. 2-0 up, brought back to 2-2, win it 3-2, and there it is. A good win against an Everton side in 6th position at the moment. I feel like I'm not struggling too much against the teams that aren't the traditional 6. I'm conceding goals, of course, as you can see, but I feel like all of those games are winnable. It's just that top 6 which I'm struggling with at the moment. But our goal was to stay up and stay in the league and establish ourselves as a Premier League side in the first season. So that's what we're doing at the moment. Currently sat mid-table. A few bits of admin before the next game. We accepted a bid from Portuguese side for Taylor. I know it's not massively realistic, but we had to let him go at some point, and before he goes on a free, so we accepted that bid. Jackson Wilkins from the youth academy looked absolutely promising, so we've promoted him up. And Aurier, very unhappy. He's handing in a transfer request. I just want to note quickly, as we're in this game in Wolves, I will catch up in just a sec, but you would have seen there, a penalty was given against me, and I was so confused as to what was given. I had to go on the instant replay, which, I'm sorry, it breaks the immersion for a second, but I had to show the replay, and Niakate has gone to block the ball. He hasn't touched the ball, but he hasn't touched the man. Guedes' boot, like, well after the fact, brushes Niakate's thigh. I don't even think it's in the box as well, by the way, and the ref gives a penalty. I was absolutely perplexed that he'd given that, but you know, it is what it is. They would go on to make it 2-0 through Lucas Moura, and then Guedes would get his second of the game and make it 3-0 Wolves. I just want to touch on the Lucas Moura move, by the way. He's out of contract with Tottenham in the summer, and I think this would be a perfect move for him. You know, Wolves are known for liking their Portuguese players. They've recently lent into the Brazilian market as well, bringing in 3 or 4 Brazilian players in the last couple of windows. I think Lucas Moura, I don't know, you just see a player fitting with the team. I can see the Brazilian fitting in with Wolves, and I think it'd be a good addition. He scored in this game to make it 2-0. They went on to make it 3. Guedes then went and got a red card. It was a really rash decision, really unneeded, and he's put his team in trouble. He's gone from hero to zero, scoring 2 in the first half. Now he's been sent off. He's leaving his team short. And Awoniyi, you know, if you give this man a sniff, he will bag. He makes it 3-1. With about 15 minutes to go, and then Nico Williams running down the right. Emmanuel Dennis again comes off the bench, scores a goal, and we're just a goal down now. And you'll see in this replay as well, get absolutely clattered by Jose Sarr. He put his body where it mattered, and he's brought us to within 1. We've seen some good comebacks in this save already. Could we bring it back from 3-0 down at Molineux against Wolves? We would get one last chance here. In the 89th minute, cross comes in from Brennan Johnson. Oh, Dennis is just inches away, but he can't head it. He can't get onto the header, and that is how it would finish. 3rd game in a row, finishing 3-2. God, I need this January transfer window. We are leaking goals like it's going out of fashion. What is going on? We're playing 5 at the back. But I won't put it all down to this, but playing the AI on Ultimate is just... When they go through on goal, you just feel like you're going to concede. It doesn't matter who you've got in goal. Henderson does make a few saves, but they just pass it. When they want to, they pass it through us, and there's nothing we can do, and we concede almost... Well, we have conceded every game so far. It's rough. As you see, Gibbs White picks up a 5-day injury against his former club. Thankfully, nothing too serious. You would have seen the board as well said, please revisit our very clear objectives. They aren't happy with our brand exposure. They wanted us to sign 2 players based in North America. They sound pretty threatening, I'll be honest. They aren't happy at all. So maybe in the January transfer window, we'll have to spend some money. We didn't spend any money in the summer, so I think we got about 35-40 million in the bank, a big wage bill as well. So maybe we'll have to bring in a couple of North American defenders potentially, because the team is struggling at the back. We cannot keep a clean sheet to save our lives. But as we head into the 3rd and final game, Awoniyi, the league top scorer, 12 goals so far. He's been absolutely on fire. We're playing Fulham in 18th, just 2 wins all season for the Cottagers. Absolute opposite form to how they're doing in real life. They've been incredible in real life, and credit to Marco Silva and his men. You know, I think a lot of people would have expected Fulham to go back down. They're such a yo-yo club. I think in the last 5 seasons, they've been either promoted or relegated. And, I'll admit I was one of those where I expected them to go down. They've just been incredible. They've been scoring goals for fun. I think even on the opening day, they drew 2-2 with Liverpool. You know, they set their mark early. Mitrovic has been incredible. He's netted 11 times in the league so far. I think a lot of people were doubting him, whether he could do it in the Prem after his record season, scoring 43 goals in 46 league games last season. He's definitely silenced the critics. And Fulham, you know, in a realistic chance of getting a European spot. At the time of recording, they played Brighton yesterday in a huge game with another team who have been overachieving as well. Both teams pushing for a European spot of some sort, and Fulham came out with a 1-0 win at the Amex, a huge win. And yeah, it would just be incredible. You know, European football, obviously we saw it at the Cottage many moons ago, over a decade ago. I remember them playing a Europa League final against Atletico Madrid. I think maybe even Sergio Aguero was in the Atletico Madrid team there. Yeah, incredible stuff. I remember Juve coming to Craven Cottage back in the day. Maybe those nights are coming back to Craven Cottage, who knows? But jumping back into the game, we would go a goal down actually. Vinicius, the Brazilian, just scoring his second goal of the season. Brennan Johnson with a half volley, you would have seen it was absolutely beautiful. Top corner stuff to equalise. Vinicius would get his second of the game, making it 2-1. And for the second game in a row, we've seen a player score twice and then get a straight red. Vinicius getting a straight red again for a silly tackle. I like that the game added now where players make rash tackles and the AI getting sent off. You know, it does make it more realistic. I was quite surprised, to be honest. But as you would have seen, Taiwo Awoniyi levelled the scoring to make it 2-2 with about 25 minutes to go, and then he would score an absolute worldie. I love the angle from behind the goal. It looks beautiful. He would get a double, his 13th and 14th for the season, and he would turn this game on its head. Oh my God, what a man. What a man. We're going to have a challenge on our hands keeping him at the City ground. He scores an absolute worldie. I love the camera angle from behind the goal as well. This looks beautiful. And we're 3-2 up, getting his 13th and 14th league goals of the season. And that would be it. We would see the game out. It's a 3-2 win. Yes, there are negatives. We conceded 2 goals to a team that are in the relegation zone. We haven't kept a league clean sheet yet this season. But all I can do for now is, if we're going to concede, just try and outscore the opponent. That is all we can do in this scenario. And until we get to January, maybe we can bring in some defenders, try and shore up the defence. But for now, that is going to have to be our game plan. And that'll be it for today's episode. 2 wins from 3. 3 games that ended 3-2. There's actually 4 in a row that finished 3-2. So leaking goals, but winning games with 1, 2 out of 3 of this episode. Can't complain. We move on. We've got 3 more games, 1 more episode until the January transfer window. Let me know in the comments who you want me to bring in, how I can shore up this defence. We're sat in 11th, not too bad, 23 points. I'll take it. But that'll be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like if you did, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.